What's good? It's your boy Fanon. All right, I'm going to talk about the heavyweight division in this video. Specifically, Deontay Wilder's fight with Tyson Fury in the undercard that has been rumored to be taking place, and Anthony Joshua's fight with Alexander Povetkin. As most people who have been watching this channel know, that I am really focused on talking about things that, whenever relevant, that lead to the unification of a weight class. Because in boxing, the only way that you know who the champion is when all of the four major belts are unified by one person. And at that point, you can know who the champion is. And all of the fights that happen other than that are fights between title holders, the WBC title holder, WBA title holder, WBO title holder, WBC silver title holder, all these titles that really don't mean anything because it doesn't give you any clarity into who the champion is. So with that said, this weekend, we have a fight coming up with Alexander Povetkin and Anthony Joshua. So I'll talk about that first, and then Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury, and an undercard that is just, it's just a terrific undercard. From what I understand, if this undercard turns out to be true, this is easily the best fight card, the best fight card of the year, and which would make sense because it's pay-per-view. And when you're paying $60, $70, $80, $90 to see a fight, for an event, you should be able to spend every minute that fight is on enjoying your time and walking away with 4 or 5 good hours of boxing matches. If you get 4 or 5 hours of boxing matches back to back that are great fights that you would love to see, regardless of whether if they were televising them off pay-per-view, then you get your value. So those are the two things that I'm going to talk about and then kind of connect the two. Because at this point in time, man, I stopped doing Anthony Joshua videos because I started feeling sorry for the dude. And I started feeling sorry for him, number one, because he was acting like somebody should feel sorry for him. So I said, hey, why not? And second of all, because, this guy is just one fight away from doing something that is really, really significant in boxing. But he just didn't, for one reason or another, didn't cross the threshold. And as a result of not crossing that threshold, wind up diminishing his standing in boxing significantly to the point where there's absolutely no excitement for his fight with Alexander Povetkin at all. But before I go into those details, I want to thank everybody for subscribing to the channel who's here. That's a subscriber. Thank you very much. To the people who are not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon, and that way you can be notified when we release more videos and we do our live streams. The live streams on this channel, man, we've really had a lot of fun doing live streams on this channel lately. Been a lot of really good conversations going on, and that's primarily because we haven't been talking about Anthony Joshua and all the craziness that had been going on with him and Eddie Hearn and the nonsense debates that were going on this summer about a one-sided obvious issue, which is that Eddie Hearn and Anthony Joshua had no intention on making a Deontay Wilder fight. But since we're not talking about that, the conversations have been a lot more fun, man. And we've been able to move on to talk about things like Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence Jr. and, other interesting topics in boxing. But as far as this one goes, Anthony Joshua versus Alexander Povetkin is going to be more than likely 95% sure, 99% sure Anthony Joshua is going to win this fight against Alexander Povetkin. Whether it be a knockout and not a knockout, that's where I'm leading there. Of course, there's a chance that Alexander Povetkin can beat him. I don't think that it's going to happen. And it's a fight that I don't care about. It's a fight that obviously many people who did care about Anthony Joshua's other fights don't care about either, seeing as the fight did not sell out. And my understanding is that they were giving away tickets, that you could get a ticket to Anthony Joshua's versus Alexander Povetkin by opening up a Cracker Jack box and grabbing the ticket out of the bottom of it. That's how bad that's how low the public reception of this fight is. And when it's over with, it will not have mattered. The only outcome that could possibly, there's a couple things that were going to happen after this fight. If Anthony Joshua knocks out Alexander Povetkin, finally, after a year of boxing, because this is more than a year since he fought Anthony Joshua. He fought Vladimir Klitschko. Anthony Joshua can have a highlight, a new highlight. Because if you've not noticed, there has not been any new major highlights from Anthony Joshua's fight since he fought and knocked out Vladimir Klitschko in, I do believe, late May of 2017. The timing of this video is mid-September 2018. So after having a drab fight with Carlos Takam, which says TKO on the record, but shouldn't have been because he never knocked down Carlos Takam, and Carlos Takam was in no trouble whatsoever. And then fighting 12 rounds of, really who really remembers any real moment in the fight with Joseph Parker, other than him taking a timeout to wrap his glove, telling the referee that he needed to wrap his glove, and having the referee threaten to punch, jump in between him and Joseph Parker anytime an inside fight looked like it was going to break out. But this fight, if he knocks out Alexander Povetkin, they have a chance to actually show a new highlight to fans in the UK and get them excited about Anthony Joshua if he's able to knock him out. So that could be one outcome of it. The other outcome of it is that Anthony Joshua wins a decision, and it's like, who cares? We want to see you fight Deontay Wilder because they didn't care about it to begin with. And that is a quote out of the mouth of, not a direct quote, but that's paraphrasing something that Eddie Hearn himself said. And then the other option is that he loses to Alexander Povetkin, and then we just have a complete and utter mess in the heavyweight division, because now Alexander Povetkin is the champion. Then Alexander Povetkin is going to have to rematch. Where will the rematch be? Will it be in Russia? Right? Will he have to take a mandatory? Will the belts get split up? All kind of nonsense like that goes on, man. Which is why this fight is an absolute shame that it's even happening. Anthony, we should be right now being nervous. I should have butterflies in my stomach on today being the Friday before the fight. I should be having butterflies in my stomach about what's going to happen between Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. It would have easily been the biggest fight of the year. Bigger than Canelo Alvarez versus Gennady Golovkin. Bigger than any fight that could have possibly been made this year. And we would have, at the end of it, we would have had, unless it was a draw, we would have had closure, at least for the moment. We would have, for the moment, established who the man is in all of boxing. But instead, we don't get that. But transitioning to the Deontay Wilder undercard, we do have, at least coming up, the answer to the question that I had, which is who the lineal champion is. When Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury fight, that question will be answered for me. I'm one of the few people that believe that Vladimir Klitschko should not have been considered the lineal champion after Lennox Lewis. That it should have been Vitaly Klitschko. Because Vitaly Klitschko fought for the same belt that the only championship belt, major championship belt that Lennox Lewis had when he retired was the one that was held by Vitaly Klitschko. They didn't give the lineal championship to Vladimir Klitschko for 3 years after that in a fight where he fought against Ruslan Shagayev. And if there was a reason for Vladimir Klitschko to be considered the lineal champion, it should have been when he beat Chris Bird, who had the IBF belt. And he did that 2 years before they gave the lineal championship to Vladimir Klitschko. And the reason that I say that it's important to distinguish who was the lineal Vladimir Klitschko or Vitaly Klitschko is because that would then determine about who is the lineal champion between Deontay Wilder and Tyson Fury. If you believe Vladimir Klitschko was the lineal champion because of a fight with Ruslan Shagayev 4 years after Lennox Lewis retired, then you think Tyson Fury is the lineal champion. But if you believe that the belt that Vitaly Klitschko should have got the lineal championship because he won the championship that was vacated by Lennox Lewis when he retired, then you think Vitaly Klitschko is it. But I'm going to be happy at the end of in December because I'll at least have an answer to that question. I can then say who the lineal heavyweight champion of the world is. Also, Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury. Tyson Fury would be the real champion, and this is a word that I'm using, quote unquote, put a little trademark next to it. The real champion for all the belts, for the WBC, the WBA, the IBO, and the IBF. Because say what you want about Tyson Fury and how those belts went away, those belts were his, and he never got beat in the ring. So at least we'll get some closure around the lineal championship, and then the winner, Deontay Wilder or Tyson Fury, will have bragging rights over Anthony Joshua about who the man is. And though for all of the belts for real. And again, for real's got quotations marks on it and a little trademark symbol on it, because that's the way that I view it. But you also get definitely the best quality fight of the card of the year. If the rumors are true, we'll get to see Adam Konecki. The bad side of it is the worst fight that I've heard about being made is Adam Konecki versus Joe Joyce. And let me tell you, Adam Konecki versus Joe Joyce, with the Canelo Alvarez fight, should have been the number 2 fight on the card. It is as good. That is a good a fight. That's one of the better heavyweight prospect fights that you can make. And that's the 4th fight. That should be coming on. It might come on 4 hours before, 3 hours before the main event. And then after Adam Konecki and Joe Joyce, we might get Leo Santa Cruz and Gary Russell Jr. And then Gervonta Davis versus Abner Mares. Those are all championship fights, not Konecki. But you get the WBA super featherweight champion in Gervonta Davis against a former champion in Gary Russell in Abner Mares. And I bet you that the Leo Santa Cruz fight might go on before the Deontay Wilder fight, because I do believe Leo Santa Cruz and Gary Russell Jr. is a unification fight at 126 pounds. So you get an undefeated Gary. Well, no, you got a Gary Russell Jr. He's not undefeated, and neither is Abner Mares, Leo Santa Cruz. But those are 2 top-notch fights, man. Those are fight cards that could cover their own. They could be headline fights by themselves. 2 of them. And then you get Deontay Wilder and and Tyson Fury, 2 undefeated heavyweights, the lineal heavyweight champion and the WBC champion, and the true WBA champion, IBF champion, WBO champion, and if you want to throw a little trinket in there to boot, the real IBO champion as well, because Tyson Fury was the one that took them straps up off of Vladimir Klitschko. But so I guess we're just going to have to settle for that. So the December fight, I'll take it. But then hopefully after that, people will act like they got some damn sense. And the winner of Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, will fight the winner of Anthony Joshua and Alexander Povetkin, whoever those 2 are. My belief is that it'll be Anthony Joshua and Deontay Wilder. But even if it's Alexander Povetkin and Tyson Fury, I want to see it too, because that would be for the unified heavyweight champion of the world. And just because nobody gives a fat rat about Alexander Povetkin outside of Russia, in my opinion, from what I've seen, and Tyson Fury, isn't loved in the United States. Hey, if they're the man, they're the man. And that's what it is. And these guys need to fight each other. We got 4 people fighting for all the belts in September. Then we skip a couple months, do it in December. And that's a good look. But then after that, whether it's the April time frame or the May time frame, that unification fight needs to happen, man. So anyway, I'm looking forward to it. Like I said about the Anthony Joshua fight, I don't really care. That doesn't go any further to answering the question about who the best heavyweight is, because there's only got one guy in there with any belts, or any claim to be the heavyweight champion. So, hey, anyway, with that, thank you guys. If you're not subscribed, please subscribe and hit the bell icon. And with that, I'm out. Peace.